1.
Evening, this is the meeting of the advisory committee. I am calling the meeting to order. The Templeton Advisory Committee regular business meeting is being broadcast live on TCTV Channel 8 and the TCTV YouTube channel. Responses will be made to comments in the TCTV YouTube channel as time permits. The agenda and meeting materials for this business meeting were posted to www.mytowngovernment.org/01468 no later than 48 hours prior to the scheduled meeting, in accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts open meeting laws. The chair reserves the right to add items to, remove items from, or change the order of the agenda. However, the agenda is posted in advance to give the committee and public time to review the agenda items and to ensure the meeting runs within the allotted time frame. This time, I would like to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And at this time, unfortunately, there are no members of the public present, but are there any members of the public out there in TV land, so to speak, who would like to make comments?
Somebody coming in.
What? Okay.
We do not have any comments.
Okay.
But I will let you know if we do.
Okay, thank you. The first order of business would be review and approval of the October 15th minutes, which was our pre-town meeting. I hope that all of you have had a chance to review the minutes of the meeting. And if not, I'll give you a little bit of time to do so.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the October 15th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Okay, there being none, Ms. Richard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer, how do you
Yes.
vote? Mr. Moser, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, so they are approved by a 4-0 vote.
Mr. Francis, just so you know, John Kaplis has joined via Zoom.
Thank you. Mr. Kaplis, can you hear me? Mr. Kaplis, can you hear me? Do you know if you can hear me or not?
He has his microphone muted.
Oh, he just disappeared. Maybe he wasn't connected well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think he had a couple other things going on. Okay, the first item of old business is it states review and approval of the FY24 annual report. There is a copy in your packet. There was a copy in your packet of the FY23 annual report. There is a deadline to submit the FY24 annual report. What I want to do is I wanted to ask if there is a member who would like to help me with preparation of the FY24 annual report.
No, I'll help you with it if you like.
Okay, I appreciate that. So what I would like to do at this time is table this item on the agenda, and then Mr. Mosier, you and I will get together sometime in the next week.
Great.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Kaplis.
Hey, Mr. Chair, sorry about that. Some technical difficulties over here. All set now.
Okay, just to bring you up to speed is we reviewed and approved the October 15th pre-town meeting minutes.
Great.
And also we we tabled the consideration of the FY24 annual report. Mr. Mosier has volunteered to assist me with preparation of that. And I hope to have that filed within a week, a week.
Work.
We will be running up against the deadline. I believe it's November 28th. So we do that. I'm glad you're here, Mr. Kaplis, because the next item on the agenda concerns the HERO Act. You may recall that we discussed that at the September 5th meeting. And at that time, you indicated that you wanted more time to review the HERO Act and to possibly come up with language of a recommendation motion. So my question to you tonight is, do you have any suggested language?
Well, at this point, most of the changes aren't taking place until like 25 and 26. So we have plenty of time. I mean, it's on my other side of my office, but I went through the entire stack. It's pretty thick bill, which controls everything, as Mr. Moser indicated last meeting. That, I mean, it's very intensive and extensive. I mean, it's not just like bits and pieces. There's a whole bunch of language in there that it's going to take some time to go through all that. So I at this time, I have no ability at this point to indicate any type of language. I would give this at least another couple months, if not 6 months to a year potentially, because I have to meet with the assessors. I would have to meet with other folks in town just to see what their take is on these things before anything could go forward at this point.
I also had a chance to read an overview of the HEROES Act, and I agree with you. It's a very extensive, it's really a complete overhaul of the veteran services. There's many moving parts to it. I agree with you. How do the members feel if this was to be placed on the agenda for January? Do you think that would give you enough time, Mr. Kaplis?
I mean, it'll give me enough time to at least get some more dialogue and maybe put something on paper that I can provide to the other members so they can review prior to the January meeting with some directions potentially to go, maybe. That's where I think we could probably do something like that.
What, if you could just tell me, is the effective date of the act January of this coming year, or is it further down the road?
There's different sections call for different enactation of years, so it depends. Some act like the benefit as far as the $2,000 a year stipend benefit for 100% disabled veterans, that doesn't take effect until 2025. Then you have the excise tax abatements, they don't take effect till 26. And also the real estate tax assessments, that doesn't take effect till 26 as well. It was like kind of like branched out.
I think my major concern with this was, in particular, the real estate tax exemption.
Yes. Yep.
And if that's not coming into effect for several months, then I think it would be wise at this point to put it on the agenda for January.
Sure. Again, my main focus was the excise tax abatements and the real estate tax, because that's what would impact the community based on whatever funding. If the abatements did go through, it was approved by the town, obviously, then obviously how would that impact the town financially? I think that was a couple of members' concern. And depending on what the return was, basically the state or the federal government's return based on whatever the abatement was. They don't get 100%, I can tell you that. But there is a dollar amount that comes with each abatement. I'm just not sure what that dollar amount is. I got to still meet with Justice to confirm that.
I find it interesting that you mentioned the excise tax abatement because there is an act called the Municipal Empowerment Act, which is winding its way through the legislature, and it will probably become law. Well, the way the legislature does things, it'll probably become law as of June 30th of next year.
Mhm.
But what that in reading through that act is that there is an excise tax piece to that. And there is also a meals tax piece to that, where the town would be able to raise the meals tax by a small amount to gain more revenue. And there's also other things regarding purchasing and bidding and the like. How does everybody feel if I place this on the agenda for January 2025? Is there any objection to that? No.
I don't have any objection now.
Okay.
And just so you know, Mr. Chair, I will be working with the veterans agent in town, the current agent in town. So it's going to be like a joint effort with her and I.
And what I'll do is I'll put it on the agenda, but if you feel you need another month or two after that, I'll take it off the agenda and put it on for February or March. But I just want you to give you enough time.
I appreciate that. No, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And then also, Mr. Kaplis, you had made at the September 5th meeting a possible recommendation as to the amount of free cash to go into the various stabilization accounts. This is the next item on the agenda, and I wanted to ask you if you have a motion that you would like to present tonight, or a recommendation you would like to present tonight, or if you'd also like to defer that to a future meeting.
Well, based on what happened last night, I would definitely have to defer that because obviously the management policies need to be reevaluated again based on the changes that took place last night, and obviously with this new fund. I can't think of the word now.
It would be the stabilization fund.
Yeah, the new stabilization fund. With that new stabilization fund, I mean, I have some notes, but and to give some ideas, obviously, for the select board to start their policy drafting procedures and how things would be potentially make that simpler, because that way you wouldn't have to change like all the different percentages. Because if you just, take the meals tax off the top automatically, whatever is left, the percentages will then increase. You'll be based on whatever's left, whatever the aggregate left over is based on whatever's taken off because of the meals tax. So I have some. I really can't do anything right now. I definitely would like to wait, and then obviously put some things in writing, and that way we can discuss them further.
Do you think 1 month would be adequate?
Yep.
Okay, then we'll put that on the agenda for a month from now. Is that okay with the other members?
Yes, that's good with Mr.
Yeah.
Chair.
Mr. Mosier, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then item D, we raised at a recent meeting a possible recommendation concerning interest earned from the town's invested funds. We actually passed a motion, which will be prepared within the coming week. Do you feel that item? Do any of the members feel that item needs further discussion? Basically, what we discussed and recommended is, the interest at present, the interest from the town's invested funds, which are well over $1.5 million now, that is not transparent. We don't, a voter looking at the town records will not be able to tell exactly how much interest is being earned and exactly how that is being used. Which is the basis for the original recommendation. What I would ask is there a need for any further discussion, or can I just go ahead and print up a motion for everybody to sign?
I would think that you would just put it out there to us so we can review it and sign it.
Okay,
That would be my thoughts.
is that the consensus of the other members, to put the motion out there to be signed?
Sounds good to me.
Yep, sounds good.
Mr. Mosier?
I'm fine with proceeding that way.
Okay, and that is what we'll do. I will have something, I'll have something within the week, within the selectman's office, for all of us to sign. All right, thank you. The next item I'd like to go to, it's really the last item, but I wanted to bring this up. I did have a list. I don't think you have it, John. I don't think you have it, but
I don't.
I put forth some possible dates for November, January, February, March, and April.
I'll send those to him now.
Okay.
John, I'm gonna send those to you via text.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
And Mr. Mosier, I think they were sent to you by text already.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I don't have the pleasure of having Mr. Mosier's number, or I would have done that as well.
Okay. I can give it to you.
No, that's fine.
Can we send this to John as well? Just send that to John.
Sure.
I sent them both to Andrew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I only have a concern with the 19th of November. I don't know, I have my November PAC meeting that day, so the other two dates are fine with me.
Yeah.
All right, it's bad day. I just, what I did in, I've not talked with TCTV or Holly about these dates. What I tried to do is I tried to pick dates that were within the first 2 weeks of the month. In case we had to have a second meeting at the end of the month. And I just provided 3 dates each month with the hope that one of the dates would be suitable for everybody. So obviously, Mr. Kaplis, if Tuesday, November 19th, if that doesn't work, then that'll eliminate that date. And
Well, don't let, I mean, you still have a quorum, so don't let me stop you if that date works well for everybody else. I mean, I wouldn't,
I'm actually unavailable on the 19th as well.
Oh, okay, well, that throws 2 monkeys in the wrench, but I mean, that's still.
yeah, so what I would do is I would look to work with TCTV for Monday, November 18th or Thursday, November 21st, rather than the 19th.
Mr. Chair, Mondays are not the greatest day for me in general because I have a lot of kids events that day. So
Okay.
Tuesdays or Thursdays are better typically for me.
Okay.
Yeah, likewise. I think that November 21st, that Thursday would work. And then in general, all the other months that you proposed, I think Tuesdays would work really well if we could do Tuesdays.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Is Tuesdays,
I think we talked about that at the last meeting as well. Yeah,
That'll work.
Tuesdays work for me a little better than Thursdays, actually.
I do have the subcommittee meeting for Narragansett on the second Thursday of the month, so Tuesdays work generally better, just so that there's no conflict there, because I would maybe be running from one to the.
okay. So what I'm
So-
gonna do is I'm going to contact TCTV as far as the November meeting. I'm going to work to try to get as the best choice Thursday, November 21st. And then for December, I'm not planning any meetings. I know Mr. Kaplis in the past, I don't think you had meetings, and everybody is busy.
Yep.
And then for January, January is the best date for everybody. Would that appear to be Thursday, January 9th?
I think we all just agreed on Tuesday.
Tuesday
Tuesday,
the
okay.
7th.
I just
Tuesday the
circled
7th.
every Tuesday.
Okay, that's fine.
All
Fine.
right.
Oh, that's all right. All right, so that'd be Tuesday, January 7th as the best.
Yep.
And then Tuesday, February 11th is the best.
Yep.
And then going into March, also Tuesday, March 11th.
Yep.
And then Tuesday, April 15th, tax day.
Sounds good.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work with TCTV on those dates as the best first option. And if that doesn't work, I will contact all of you individually. Right, thank you. I'd like to go to the final item on the agenda, which is this would be concerning proposed requests of the town of Templeton as far as priorities for the state legislature to consider. I hope everybody has the list. Do you have the list, Mr. Kaplis, that was sent to you?
I have it. I have it. Looks good.
And Mr. Moser, do you also have the list?
I do.
Okay. I just like to offer some comments about this. Outside of the pre-town meeting, the pre-fall town meeting, which we just reviewed the articles, and also the spring town meeting. I feel the reason why I joined advisory was I felt that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and their policies were not in alignment with the town of Templeton. And I thought at that time it was a nuisance. Unfortunately, I feel today that it really is that the policies of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are not really a nuisance, but in a way they pose an existential threat to the stability of the town finances. And the past 2 years, advisory has sent a list, it's a wish list, and they're rejected. And this list is probably going to be no different. Most of the items will be, they'll be sent to our reps if approved. They'll be sent to Representatives Lotnick and State Senator Durant. And I know I've been told in the past that there's really not much that can be done. But I think it's important to just send a list, because that way, if you don't ask, you don't get, which is how I look at it. But I wanted to call all of your attention to the second page in the last several items, because I tried to figure out what has been the negative impact of the policies of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts on the present fiscal year 25 town budget. And some of them, like, for example, the $500,000 in lottery receipts, that's listed, is, the state's not gonna change that. But I came up with a total of $5.8 million. And, many of these things on the list, they are legitimate. The $900,000 in extra expenditures to support the school district. The $600,000 that was taken, to support, the water and sewer pipes underneath the East Templeton Rotary. This is something where the state could have chosen to do the Main Street Bridge, but instead they prioritized the Rotary, and it cost the town $600,000. So that's a negative impact of $600,000. The state, Mayor Wu of Boston has proposed that the state pay on lands owned within each city and town, that the pilot be equal to 25% of the tax. The state owns 20% of the lands in the town of Templeton. If you look at that, if they paid the full tax on that, that would be $2 million. If you apply Mayor Wu's reasoning, that would be about $400,000 in taxes that the state should, in theory, pay. What is actually paid is about $150,000. So there's just, it's just a lot. I went to the Worcester County retirement system, those folks, asking them about the feasibility of moving the catch-up date, where the town is current on their retirement payments, moving it from 2036 to 2040. If they decided to do that, which they're not going to decide to do it, they might nibble around the edges, but they're not going to move the years. That's $400,000 a year. That's a negative impact of $400,000 a year. So if you take out the $500,000 of lottery receipts, which is kind of unrealistic, the realistic figure is $5.3 million, which is half the municipal budget. It's just a huge negative impact. And I get the feeling that our reps are not really aware of this. They need to be made aware of this. And that's why I made up the list. I just feel it is something, very important, that we should do. So at this time, if any of you have any comments, I would appreciate that.
I have one. The 600,000 to install water and sewer pipes at the East Templeton Rotary. That was not a waste of money. I happen to live in East Templeton. I think it's about time. They were 86 years old, and we had water breaks, water main breaks every other month for 5 years. They needed to be repaired. And you look at it, it's the same as what our Main Street Bridge 86 years ago. It's time to replace it where we need to do it. So when you look at the infrastructure, it's so important, and kudos to Bob Sozak for coming out with a plan, a 5-year plan, and trying to go after some grants and trying to go after some state funding for many of these, because it's going to happen. It's going to pop up all over town. Everything is very old as far as infrastructure goes.
Well, I wanted to emphasize, I did not put that on the list as a negative impact, because the pipes should have been repaired when they were repaired, and I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
What I do have a problem with is, I remember when I was on the Capital Improvements Committee, we voted on it the day after they started work on the project. It came, it came out of nowhere, and the Main Street Bridge had been shovel ready for 3 years. And I don't think the impact would have been 600,000. And so I think what I am complaining about is that the priority of the town, in my mind, was the Main Street Bridge.
I see.
And the impact on that for for the pipes would have been far less than $600,000. Instead, the state chose, which they have a right to do, they chose to do the repair at the Rotary, and then we had to come up with the money, right away. I guess I put it akin to, your car always breaks down at the worst time.
Yeah.
At the worst time. During the month, when you have the least amount of money, it seems like your car breaks down. And I look at it kind of that way.
Mr. Chair, just
Yes,
to give you some feedback for both the list and the Rotary, as well as the Main Street Bridge as well. The Rotary, obviously, that actually started back in like 2016 with a group of select board members meeting with the state and determining if it was going to be a rotary, a traffic light, get a road, some type of road, get rid of a road by the Camelot, how that was going to work, how that was going to play out, what the engineering was going to cost, how that was going to play out, and what the cost variance was going to be. Not so much for the town because it was a state road, so we knew the state was picking up the cost. And it was great that the state came to us and was like asking our opinion, like, hey, what did you want to do? Now, the water department knew that this project was on the earmark back in 2016, 2017 when it was finalized, and it came back that it was going to be a rotary, and that was the end. That was the end. Now, people want to wait for the state to do their jobs. I'm like, just think, this happened in 2016. The work started in 2024. So that's how long it takes the state to get things done. So if you want to wait to get other things done by the state, it doesn't work that way. The Bridge and Gardner was closed for almost 10 years before the state even ponied up even a little bit of dollars to help Gardner build that bridge over the railroad tracks. So now going back to Main Street Bridge, I mean, obviously everything happened last night for a reason, which was great. I don't want to bring that up again, but I'll tell you, I can't wait for November 5th. And hopefully we're going to have positive results because this is a huge major piece of infrastructure in this community and the community needs to come behind it. We need to come behind this project and hopefully have a great outlook and precision of knowing what's going to happen, knowing the fact that, we can't get reimbursements unless we put the money up front. I think a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, let's go for grants. I'm like, we are, but we can't go for grants unless we can show that we're doing the project. We have the money up front anyways, then we kind of get reimbursed. Going to your list. I think your list is great. Just be forewarned, just as you know, just like in all politics, it's all based on appropriation. A lot of those dollars that you're talking about is just on appropriation based in the state, like transportation for the kids going on the school buses. They're supposed to give us 100% of that based on appropriation, but on average, it's between 75 and 80%. Same with the monies for the aluminum taxes for the pilots for the land. I mean, that's why we're only getting about $150,000 is because that was all that was appropriated for that. So the issue at hand is going to Slotnick and going to Durant and be like, hey, maybe they need to, maybe appropriate more to the people 495 West versus the 495 belt East. You know what I mean? But everything looks good though.
what I would like to do is, because I kind of dropped this on everybody and I don't like doing that, is I would like to defer this until our November meeting and to give each of you a chance to go over the list and make additions or subtractions. I would like to discuss this again in November and come up with a recommendation, to go to the select board as we have done for the last 2 years. I think that they, the select board should have a list of recommendations, that they in turn can use to present to Representative Zlotnick or Senator Durant.
Sounds good to me.
Is everybody else?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that too.
Okay, then that's what we'll do. We will table it until our meeting. That is all of the items on the agenda. And at this time, I would like to invite members to comment. Do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Just want to say my first advisory fall town meeting was really interesting. I'm glad that the Main Street Bridge barely squeaked and passed with the townspeople. I certainly hope we see more townspeople at other meetings. It was really disappointing to see 58 registered voters out of maybe 8,400 people. That was really disappointing. That was really unfortunate. You know, unless something big comes up, people don't want to come out. But boy, when they want to complain, they're right out there. So I would just strongly encourage the public to get involved. There's some big changes coming to Templeton in the near future. We got to keep our eyes open for those. And we have money in the bank, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be watching how we're spending it. And I think everyone should have an opinion on that. They should get out there and get involved. That's just my thought on everything, but that was all I had.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jacqueline, do you have any
I
comments?
don't know. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Moser, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Sure, just briefly, it was nice to see everybody at town meeting last night, and I appreciated the engagement of those town residents who were there, helping us really save some money, get focused on a couple of things that we've talked about doing in our advisory committee meetings, adding to stabilization and really figuring out the meals tax situation and making sure that we're continuing to add transparency to the way that we are handling money as a town and making recommendations specifically as an advisory committee. So it was a good meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Kaplis, do you have any comments at this time?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I'd like to, for my comments, I would just like to follow up on what Ms. Richards said is if there was a swing of 3 votes on the Main Street Bridge last night, it would have failed. That's how close it was. It was a very, very close vote. And when it came, the last time this was on the ballot, it failed by fewer than 5 votes. I don't know the exact number. I just hope this is, I think everybody in town agrees that this is a project that needs to go forward. And I just hope that we have a lot of people show up and that they understand what's at stake as far as the bridge goes and that they vote in favor of this bridge. Very, very important. That's all I have to say. At this time, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Second,
It's a Kaplis, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Say
Aye.
I
aye.
Aye.